Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's edition of the Kakis Dialogue. And today I'm just going to be making a little presentation on the Ministry of Local Government. And if you look at your Facebook pages, you probably might have come across a hearing at the Senate for officials designate of the Ministry of Local Government. So it is a very important ministry, and it's something that we ought to pay attention to as a people. So I just thought that we can have a little conversation around the Ministry of Local Government. So I'll just play you a clip that I got from the social media, and then we can look at it. Those are the official designate of the Ministry of Local Government swearing an oath. For a hearing
do we have swear that the testimony I am about to give and to my recollection is the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
So that is it. They were basically being sworn in to get their testimony for the confirmation hearing. And so we now have the Ministry of Local Government, and our attention is drawn to mending, providing the necessary manpower that is going to lead a very important chapter in the life of the Liberian society, in our body politic, and in our governance processes. As you are aware, over time in Liberia, government has been more or less centralized. Government has been more or less centralized. And It has been so because a lot of people in power benefited from the deep centralization of government, because government ran with the patronage system, and therefore the patron client relationship that was nurtured throughout the Liberian governance processes was so tight, and that abrogating that relationship will mean that there'll be a change in the system or the structure of government in Liberia, and that the patron might likely lose control of the clients. Now, it was so because historically we had a very minority group ruling the country, and that minority could not rely wholly on democracy. And so they will have to make sure that the kind of democracy they dispense is not something that they do not have control over, because they have to maintain a hold on the country through uh, the institutionalization of fear, and not rely on love, because they never had control over love, and therefore it was impossible for them to rally support from the people and produce a legitimate government, so to speak. So patronage over centralization was the order of the day. And when we went to the civil conflicts, when we went to the civil conflicts, it was unanimously agreed amongst the party at the peace conference that bad governance was a major factor responsible for the civil war, and therefore there was the establishment of what they refer to as the Governance Reform Commission, which later became the Governance Commission. And in the Governance Commission, they had what you call the mandate area called for legal and political reform. And out of that mandate area was birthed this whole idea of decentralization. Decentralization was thought necessary because many of our people historically were beaten because they rejected to pay taxes to a government that did not actually represent them. That has been a history of Liberia. A group of people isolated from the central government, but yet the central government will want to bring them under her control without providing the necessary benefits to those people. Time has changed. We have gone to conflict, and we have sat on the table resolving our conflict, and we look at those uh, obstacles to our peace, those obstacles to our democratization processes, and we suggested that there has to be a reform in the government. And a central reform in this direction is the whole idea of decentralization of governance. And so we have the National Decentralization, or so the Local Government Act. We got the Local Government Act. That is a body of law that uh, kind of focuses on how our local government should be structured and how it should be run. And then we also have the Ministry of Local Government. So for the implementation of the Act, the Local Government Act, we need to have a designated ministry. The way that the Ministry of Internal Affairs was structured, didn't that way the Ministry of Internal Affairs was structured did not position her in the place where she could be able to adequately perform the function in administering and delivering on the administration and the implementation of the Local Government Act. And therefore, the ministry needed to be repositioned. So the ministry needed to not only reposition but reposition in terms of structure and functions. So there has to be a new ministry called the Ministry of Local Government, which came with the amendment of the Act creating the Ministry of Internal Affairs, or the repeal of the Act creating the Ministry of Internal Affairs to create the Ministry of Local Government. And the Ministry of Local Government, was set in force recently, even though he had the law passed, previously, but it was set in force recently. And President Boakai appointed a number of people, and those are the people that you saw go for confirmation hearing in the earlier video that I played. Let me play another clip for you to see and hear from our folks from the from the legislature, welcoming those people who are going to be confirmed by the Senate. Now, this is the light A.B. Darius DeLong speaking to those folks.
When we take government's action and we don't see them through, it is just for taking the action. There are no concrete steps. We dissolve the Ministry of Internal Affairs to create the Ministry of Local Government in line with the arrest agenda and vision of this administration, so as to conform with the Local Government Act of 2018. We took deliberate actions to give about 6 months, not more, for transition from internal affairs to local government. And that all persons appointed by the President under the Ministry of Internal Affairs that require Senate confirmation. All positions, not persons. There will be new nominations. All right. So that it can reflect the new ministry. It's more than 6 months. The current minister of what are now believed to be the former Minister of Internal Affairs is going across the country. He was in Decatur about 2 weeks ago to inform about the new ministry. I believe that the current minister of the former ministry, abolished Ministry of Internal Affairs, should not be acting in that position right now. The Senate should be deliberate in sending a clear message to the President and the Executive that President Nyamali and all those at the former Ministry of Internal Affairs should desist from proceeding as such until the president decides that he still wants them, but in the new ministry of local government with nomination to this body. It will pass laws, and the laws are not implemented or they are just overlooked. There's no need for other people to laws on the floor. No need. So I want to submit, and I'm soliciting the support of plenary by a vote. By a vote, if I would not even try to waste out everything. We're going to take a vote now. And send a formal communication to the president of Liberia. Not to Newman. Newman is serving at the pleasure of the president. It is the president's bill, and it is our action to enact the local government ministry. Why on my feet with the permission of the floor?
No.
Okay, the forward position.
That was Ibrahim Darius DeLon. Sorry, I had my mic on mute. That was Ibrahim Darius DeLon, a talking gentleman who went to the Senate under the banner of transparency and accountability, and won the minds in favor of the Liberian people, got the vote, and won the CDC twice in the elections. And that is his position. He aligned with the Unity Party. He's an ally of the Unity Party, and his contention is that as they have dissolved the Ministry of Internal Affairs and given the ministry 6 months to transition into the Ministry of Local Government, within those period, the ministry, the current administration official at the Ministry of Local Government should have equally transitioned through a confirmation or through appointment by the president, should have equally transitioned into appoint officials of the Ministry of Local Government through confirmation hearing, so to speak, or if the legislature can pass a resolution confirming all of them, automatically as part of the transition, that is it. But he was basically arguing that they have to be considered as not representing the Ministry of Local Government until they are nominated in and confirmed. So they were present before the Senate, and this is the message that came out of there. And of course, the president did not those people, and they went for confirmation hearing. I can share with you the list of people who were appointed. Let me check 1 minute so I can share with you the list of people who were appointed. Okay, I'm going to do that some later, but I have the list of people who were appointed, and we're going to get the list up very soon. But there were people appointed, and those are the people who are earlier show taking the oath. So maybe I'll play that video again once more so that you see those who were appointed. I'll play that video once more so that you see those who were appointed. Okay, here is the video. We might not have, a proper view of everyone, but these are the people who
a bona fide citizen of Nigeria, do hereby swear that the testimony I am about to give and to my recollection is the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. So we now ask Senator Koga to please give us welcome remarks. Chair, fellow colleagues, to the nominees, where we are currently is the main chamber of the Liberian Senate. And the purpose for which you are here today is for us to perform our constitutional duty. And in this light, feel free, if anything bothering you, please ask those officers and sergeant arms around will assist you. But we have come to vet you because it's a job interview that you have come for. So whatsoever information you'll be providing to this committee should be the truth, but nothing about the truth. I want to say welcome, and colleagues, thank you very much. Okay, as you all are aware that we allow senators and some of you are not acquainted with them, so we now want to ask the senators in chambers to please introduce themselves to the nominee.
So as you hear from Senator Koga, the nominees actually came to be vetted, to be screened in legislative language for the various positions that the government designated them to occupy. So here is the list of the nominee. Mr. Francis Sikala Newmali Sr., Minister Mr. Edward K. Moba, Mr. Samuel F. Brown, Madam Selena Paulson Mappy, Mr. Joseph N. D. Banner, and Madam Fatima Bintu Salif, Mr. J. Alfonso D. Perkins, Mr. J. Emmanuel Wenyu, Mr. Eddie Cornelius Della, Mr. F. Dade Harper, Mr. Lucini Ability, and Mr. Mark Kalelu Jabate. Those are the people who were appointed by the president to carry out the function, to implement the functions be given to the Ministry of Local Government, primarily to ensure decentralization of our country and basically to make sure that our people all across our country feel and participate in governance as a right. They can be excluded from the government because the people are an extension of the government, because we are operating a representative democracy, and therefore everybody cannot be in the government. But in reality, the government is the people, because it is the people that designated those who are currently occupying those positions of trust, who delegate some of the responsibility by hiring other Liberians to work within the public sector bureaucracy and so forth. So it is the people that actually own the government, and therefore the government ought to represent the people. So decentralization is a way of ensuring inclusive government, taking the government back to the people in their various locality. We hope that we can be able to do well with that. But this is a challenge that is given to those who were appointed to that position to dispense our local government function. It is a very important obligation for us to meet as a people. It's a very important task for us to deliver on as a people. The reason why it is important is because it is impossible and practically impossible for any country to develop that does not take government down to the villages and the hamlets. It is practically impossible for any country to develop where governance is not taken downward to the people in the villages and the towns across our country. So this ministry occupies a very important place in a paradigm shift in Liberia. We are no longer trying to justify centralization of power. We want to make sure that we move government to the local level as efficiently as possible. But there was an observation made during the hearing by one of the senators, as a senator for Grand Bassa County. He didn't want to talk much. But I want everyone to listen to this observation and figure out what exactly he was trying to push. Because sometimes in politics, you fear the repercussion, and therefore you try to stay a little silent. But also in legislative politics is controlled by votes. sometimes you are silenced by the number of votes that are willingly traded to the power that be at any given point. And if that is the case, you as a representative or a senator is definitely going to be dwarfed. Your voice is not going to make any much sense in terms of change, but you can air your position anyway. But this was how the senator thought to just uh, put out, his issue that he was looking at.
Senator Western Nelson Finley, Senator of Grand Bassa County, peace loving people of Grand Bassa County. Oh, yeah, Chairman of Oklahoma.
And development will help ensure that.
Oh my God.
And say, look, in my mind, this is not.
But
I didn't get that.
specifically,
Just bear with me 1 minute. Let me go to the exact
Get down the ground,
portion where I want to play.
action in the Congress.
Simple question, how many of you?
Get down on the ground. Get down.
A lot of issues there. And this is a critical concern that I have.
Action in the Congress.
Yeah. A lot of issues there. And this is a critical concern that I have.
Sorry for the glitches. It is from the clip that I actually picked up. This was not meant to be the one that I was
Let our people feel the presence of government
to
in the
play,
community. They
but
know that there are people representing the
so that we
government
don't go back and
in the
forth,
localities.
we can
Very, very,
just
very important. Thank you.
wait a little bit and then we'll have it clear in a moment for Senator Wesonga Finley. Senator Wesonga Finley was the one. Senator Wesonga Finley was the one who actually made this point. Let me.
My question is simple. Local government at the central level.
Senator Wesonga Finley is the one who actually made this point, and we're having some glitches here, but it's going to clear very soon. And I just want you to listen to what Senator Wesonga Finley observation was, and how you make sense of it.
Simple question, how many of you today are from the southeast? People that are in the southeast of Liberia. Okay, Maryland, Granbu, Sanu, Rangide, River Steps, River G. Okay, how many from the west? Cape Mount, Gummy, Babalu. How many from the central? Mr. Chairman, I think I will rest here with my question. So you can see the answer to my question. Thank you.
One side is one side.
But
What you asking was
you ask your question and complain. I ask the question you want.
Thank you.
So yes, so you see the question from Senator Wesonga Finley. He was very indirect. He just asked that people, the nominee, put their hands up for. He was trying to make it look regional, because it's not possible for you to have appointment by counties, but once it is the Ministry of Local Government and they are going to be going across to every county, in every region, a representation that reflects the fact that they are a ministry of local government. They are supposed to be dealing with the traditional people, and they are going to be dealing with towns, villages, and the like. It makes sense for them to have some sort of broad representation. So I guess he was only trying to point out that there is some sort of bias in terms of the regions that were represented by the nominee from the Ministry of Local Government. But he made his case, and a lot of people made their observation to that. But we can all make our comment regarding that. We can all make our comment regarding that and see whether the observation was okay. We can say whether his observation was okay, whether we need our people, we need regions to be represented by the collection of people that are nominated to the Ministry of Local Government, or can we accept the fact that the appointment is one-sided, or so to speak? So, or the appointment exclude a particular region. So we ought to look at that. We ought to look at that. But nevertheless, what I'm trying to put across here is that the Ministry of Local Government is a huge responsibility. And we ask the question whether decentralization would be decentralization in actual sense, or it is going to be a decoration. This is not just a responsibility, it is something that was mentioned as an obligation to turn the pages of our conflict. Our society was overly centralized. Our society was governed through a patronage culture. Our society was deeply sectionalized. Services were centralized. And so we made it a decision to change that by enacting the Local Government Act and creating the Ministry of Local Government. For decades, Liberians living outside of Monrovia have been told that their counties matter, that their voices matter, that their development matters. But the road remains broken. The road remains broken. The schools remains unfunded. Hospitals remains understaffed. Most time you see people on payroll for both the schools and the hospitals, but they're not going to those places. And obviously the people in the central government are not able to account for those people who are supposed to be in the various schools in our interior. That is the saddest part of a centralized governance system. So our schools remain underfunded and underrepresented. Our hospital remains understaffed. And the chiefs, the very custodian of local authority, have not been elected since 1986. Since 1986. And we still come back to the reform and say the chiefs should be elected. The chiefs should be elected. Why I agree that the chiefs in our various villages and towns are very, very important people. I think we miss the mark if we don't allow the traditional processes to take shape, and we want to impose European style election model on the selections of our chiefs. Chiefs are not part of our former administrative structures. They should not be part of our formal administrative structures. They should be bridges between the tribes and ethnic groups that they represent and the ethnic culture that they represent, and our people who are in government. Because the culture and the ethnic groups, the clans, they come with their own culture, they come with their own laws, and the government ought to understand the custom and tradition of the people through their chiefs and elders. Representation through European style election is an imposition. It did not work since 1986 Constitution. What is the guarantee that it is going to work now? In fact, we do not have the funding to be able to go for chieftaincy elections. We do not have funding to go for chieftaincy elections. In some places and in some tradition, the people don't do elections. Their system of democracy has already designated, and they have agreed as a people, designated certain family to be able to produce their chiefs. And in some tradition, it is by the acquiescence of their deity. So we can impose European style elections on our people, on our traditional people, relative to selecting chiefs. So in the Local Government Act, we still have provision chiefs. Now the question would be whether the chiefs are tribal chiefs or they are chiefs of the community in which they find themselves. Because with modern economic activities moving on, some communities are being overtaken by immigrants, if I can use that word. And sometimes the immigrant population, because of the economic viability of the community, the economic activities within the community, sometimes the immigrant will overwhelm, surpass, and will become more than the indigenous inhabitant of that area. And so if you were to go to any elections, you will not be electing traditional chiefs. you will be electing chief just because they are part of that community. Now, how do we draw the parallel between the chiefs and the township commissioner? What would be the relationship? Don't you think there will be clashes? Who respects the township commissioner when the township commissioner is not elected, but the chief is elected? So we ought to be able to respect our people tradition and leave our people tradition with them in terms of the election of our chiefs. And this is where the legislature ought to look at this. I agree that during the Totman era, they tried to make sure that chiefs were elected, but that was Totman. He was trying to make sure that he consolidated power from the interior because he was not relying on the Monserrato group. So his sense of integration was to make sure that the people from the interior also have voting rights and they also have participation in the government, so that the Monserrato group, where the Americo-Liberian group where he came from, will not have that absolute power in determining whether he continue as president or not. So by integrating the locals into the body politics, he outsmarted them and continued to lead. But that was not a genuine thing. And so that urge for power distorted the chemistry that our people have between the community and their rulers, their chiefs. Chiefs were now political subjects of the power that be. And so they form part and parcel of the patronage system, thereby desecrating our tradition and our culture across the country. So a lot of counties got affected by that. A lot of counties got affected by that. We know that in January 2026, President Bouakai took many steps, and among them was the Ministry of Internal Affairs, being changed to the Ministry of Local Government. I know a lot about the Ministry of Local Government because, in fact, I was part of the process. I was part of the process of the review of the ministry, the amended and function review of the Ministry of Internal Affairs. And then I was also part of the process of drafting the act for the Ministry of Local Government. So by the time I left the Governance Commission in 2014, or not 2014, but 2016, we already had the Local Government Act drafted, and we already had the Ministry of Local Government Act drafted. So I was part of that process. But I mean, it's good that we were able to finally pass the Ministry of Local Government Act, and we are now at the point where we are making sure that we have everybody on board to deliver what the Local Government Act promises to the Liberian people. So we had a Minister of Francis Sikala Newmanley, who stood before the camera Sorry, I forgot I was on mute. But like I was saying, Minister Francis Newmanley stood before camera and said to the Liberian people that this is the beginning of a new era, a new Liberia, where power will no longer be centralized or concentrated in Monrovia, where Lofa, Nimba, Grand Gide, Riverses, Grand Crew, every county will finally feel the touch of government that sees them. This is very important, and it is a heavy load. And nobody should lie to you that this is an ongoing and rolling process. This is a process that need constant monitoring. Like Atme Sekou Touré would say, danser avec la vie, dancing with the blind. So every time you are dancing with the blind, you want to make sure that you touch the blind so that he knows that you are dancing with the blind. So this is the process that we are trying, and so to follow serious monitoring. Welcome, Kofa. So I was talking about the decentralization process, the local government process in Liberia.
Okay.
So I'll play for you few clips and so we can follow up. Uh, the first one concerns that people were nominated to be confirmed occupy the positions within the Ministry of Local Government. Within the Ministry of Local, not so there is a new Ministry of Local Government, not Internal Affairs again, and these people apparently were transitioned to the new Ministry of Local Government.
A bona citizen of Liberia, do hereby swear that the testimony I am about to give and to my recollection is the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. You have Quran there?
Yeah, you are muted.
Yeah, I was asking how many persons have gone for confirmation. So
Yeah, okay. So let me put up the list of people who actually were nominated for
and
confirmation.
is this different from the Internal Affairs Ministry?
Yes, this replaces the Internal Affairs Ministry.
So it's no more Internal Affairs, it's local government.
Yeah, it's a Ministry of Local Government now.
So the Internal Affairs Minister has to go for confirmation again?
Yes.
Okay.
So here is why the Internal Affairs Minister needs to go for confirmation. Let me play Darius DeLong. that was the law making a on why the Minister of Local Government, the Minister of Internal Affairs need to go for confirmation.
Them, they still wait for it. When we take governance action and we don't see them through, it is just for taking the action. And no concrete steps. We dissolve the Ministry of Internal Affairs to create the Ministry of Local Government in line with the arrest agenda and vision of this administration, so as to conform with the Local Government Act of 2018. We took deliberate actions to give about 6 months, not more, for transition from internal affairs to local government. And that all persons appointed by the President under the Ministry of Internal Affairs that require Senate confirmation. All positions, not persons. There will be new nominations.
All right.
So that it can reflect the new ministry. In more than 6 months, the current minister of what are now believed to be the former Minister of Internal Affairs is going across the country. He was in Decatur about 2 weeks ago to inform about the new ministry.
You
Yeah, I think this was what prompted this was what prompted them to go. I mean, do the nomination and then appointment of those people, and sending them for confirmation, because apparently they were taking it as a given. They were taking it for granted that once they were already appointed at the Ministry of Internal Affairs, even if they dissolve the Ministry of Internal Affairs, they still can hold on with the Ministry of Local Government, since it is not, they're not changing the building or stuff like that. So I don't know, but this was one of the things that probably prompted them to actually go for confirmation.
I think I agree with DeLong, because this is a different law that created a different entity. The entity to which they were appointed to serve has been abolished, been dissolved. It lost its original identity. A new identity has come into play, with maybe either the function, the previous functions of the Ministry of Internal Affairs may be adjusted or expanded upon to make the Ministry of Interior more robust, or whatever the case may be. So I think, it was a prudent move on the side of, on the part of DeLong, to say that there was a need for them to come for confirmation. Because it's through the confirmation, they will kind of demonstrate their understanding of the new ministry and how they're going to proceed with it.
Sure. That ministry is very important. I think it's the most important ministry right now, And that ministry is going to do a lot of advocacy in addition to implementing her own function. Because to decentralize in the country will also means that you have to bring the legislature along.
Mhm.
That is the reason why when we started the whole process at the governance commission, we also had this uh, legislative engagement. So you have to like brief the legislature on how far you are going with the process so that the legislature can have a buy-in. So when you carry a proposal before them, they are able to understand because they have a number of things that they are dealing with. What will make them to understand what you are doing in a very short space of time. So they have to continuously engage the legislature in some sort of advocacy, in some sort of campaign by you know regularly briefing them. It's awareness raising. You want to bring the legislature along because the guys are in the very district that you are going to be dealing with in terms of implementing your decentralization and local government transformation.
As you were talking and you were trying to give a little refresher as to from the GAC and the involvement of this whole local government thing, and something that was running through my mind is that all right, so initially we had the Ministry of Internal Affairs, and the Internal Affairs Ministry was dealing with the local. I mean, it was seeing more engaging with traditional leaders compared to how it's supposed to take care of the internal issues in the country. As like in this case, they have the Department of Homeland Security, and the Department of Homeland Security deal with all of the interior stuff, that move
Yeah.
on, immigration thing and all of that. I think there was a missing link in the previous, the then Ministry of Internal Affairs. Maybe the police needed to be under the internal ministry, the Ministry of Internal Affairs compared to the Ministry of Justice. Because the police there to deal with the internal issues. But there could be another argument. I
Yeah,
mean,
but I certainly agree with you because how do you effectively deconcentrate or decentralize the police? And if you decentralize the police and it has absolutely nothing to do with the ministry or local government,
absolutely.
how do you? Because the Ministry of Justice
Mhm.
relationship to the police is mainly on the side of prosecution.
Yes.
So if, for instance, the attorney at law will have connection with the police,
Mhm.
and the police are adequate enough, they are adequate enough to be able to gather evidence because that's the only thing that is missing. That's the only thing that is missing. Now,
Yes.
the police adequate enough to be able to gather evidence, and in the process of the evidence gathering, they connect with the county attorney or the
Mhm.
district attorney. It's just that much connection between the police and the Ministry of Justice.
Yes.
It's just that connection. Because it is the police that gave the Ministry of Justice a relevance in terms of the being on the security
Yeah.
council or
Yeah.
whatsoever. But the Ministry of Justice work is not as big and as demanding, as challenging and as representative at the local level, like
Yeah.
that of the Ministry of Local Government. No way.
Yeah. The Ministry of Local Government should incorporate the police. The police will work hand in hand with the Ministry of Justice. So the police suspect a crime, or when the crime is committed, do the arrest, adduce all of the evidence, and forward that to the county attorney for prosecution. And then when they when prosecute when the justice ministry start the prosecution, the next thing police can do is to testify to the evidence that they gather.
Sure.
So, but a good keeping security internally, it should be an issue of the local government, because you look internal, you know. So, and then as the local government now decentralizing, police is within the equation in terms of the decentralization process. But I don't know, I think there is a need to revisit the whole thing. Actually, how we can position police to be even the beside police, immigration also, to take them from the Ministry of Justice authority.
I have a problem with Gregory Coleman because Gregory Coleman was one of the guys who was advocating very strongly during the early administration when he was police director. He was arguing very strongly for the police to have some sort of autonomy. At the time, we're working on the Police Reform Act, for the police to have some sort of autonomy. Yesterday, they referred to the police under CDC as regime police. Today, the police under Gregory Coleman is being referred to as regime police as well. And it has demonstrated sufficiently as much. It has demonstrated sufficiently as much. In recent time, the idea of going to an opposition political figure residence at the first instance of grief, going to their residence with a huge battalion of police, I think that was too much. It only lent credence to this perennial argument of regime police, regime police. So I thought then when we were working on the local government, and not the local government, but the Police Reform Act, I thought then Gregor Coleman meant very well about reforming the police. We have to make sure that the police in Liberia is not a police that serve regimes. And the only way we can do that is to make sure that regimes don't come and out of a blue sky, a president will say, oh, I'm bringing John Brown from nowhere to be police director. How is that? How can it's people who have been in the police 25 years? How is it possible that they can rise to the point of becoming police director? But every president will come and take another politician and bring them over as police director just because they served in the police sometime in the past as an honor person. They rise above all of their seniors to become police director. How can we operate a country as such? So that was my issue with Gregory Coleman, and that is still my issue with him. He's in a position now, I think he should be pressing for serious police reform so that police benefit from the ranks and file, of their development. So that is the extent I can associate it to what we are discussing. Because if the police have that sort of autonomy, then decentralizing or deconcentrating and decentralizing will be relatively easy from the police central command and to a designated post in the counties.
And I'm not cutting you up, Bo, and I think that is the reason why, on this part of the world that we find ourselves in, and that is why even the sheriff, deputy sheriff or the sheriff, they are voted in to give them that independence. Even the district attorneys, all right, and even to some extent, judges are voted for independence. Because if the people give you, so when the people surrender some of their right to you, the same way the president is elected, if the police IG is elected, void of anything, and they have their 6 years to serve, they can always say no to to any kind of instruction that is not in conformity with the law. You cannot do things arbitrarily. You will always want to follow the because the police director, the only man who confidence he enjoys or who enjoys his confidence is the president, it's not the public. But if that man thinks that he has to come back to the people again for another mandate, he's going to behave. So sometimes, we need maybe whether a worth, instead of saying appointing somebody because by appointment, or do we have to vote for this position to during general election need to be out there and people be elected to occupy them, so that we get that leverage, that kind of level of independence as is done in this, on this part of on this side, it is done here where we live, because election time they elect the sheriff, district attorney, and all of these people. So if the governor can tell this man, say, do this, you will definitely tell the governor, say, I don't think that what I'm supposed to do, So maybe these are some of the things we should begin to think about.
Yeah. So that is what makes the Ministry of Local Government tax a huge tax, because they have to bring the rest of other government functionaries along.
Yeah.
They have to make sure that the dispensation of education, health are all firstly deconcentrated. Like I was just making a point about how it's difficult for the central administration, say the health ministry or the education ministry. It's difficult for the central administration to account for teachers in the villages. But it's much more easier for the township commissioner to be able to account for teachers in the township. Most time the district superintendent, I don't know, how do you call it, the district education officer.
Yeah,
The
district
district education officer, most time they are in Morovia, because that's a position that is given on political favoritism. It's not a position that is given on account that the person is based in the county. But if these positions are deconcentrated or they are decentralized in some form, where the local administration have a say in who becomes what, those people might likely be coming from the county. They might be resident in those areas where they are appointed. Like district education officer will obviously be in the district. And once that person is in the district, he will have to account for the presence of teachers and the quality of education within the district. And the accessibility factor will be there. The school will be able to access the district education officer, very easily. So it's a heavy load.
That's true. And as you were talking, I was thinking, like, there is a lot that comes with the whole decentralization. And I hope that the person driving this whole new plan is up to the task, And this is not just 6-year event. It's going to go for the next 12 years or beyond for us to get to that level, because it involves so many things. We're talking about the police. When we were growing up as a young man, we witnessed commissioners were being elected. The people used to have local elections. They elected the paramount chief, the clan chief, and all of this. They had their election, even though some of our witness the hair count, where the guy will stand in front, the rest of the men then stand behind him. Those kind of things. That time the secret ballot was still far away. So, but these things brought, this is how our people participated. And we need to go back to where commissioner, I know they say they passed the Supreme Court rule that the president can appoint. The honor called that, they took that sovereign power from our people. So ever since the war, we have not had local government elections.
But here is part of the things with the local government election, right? Let me say very squarely, I'm one of the persons who think that chiefs should not be elected. My reason is just simple. A chief is a tribal destination. That chief represents a tribe.
Yeah.
Sometimes the tribe will be overtaken by gold or diamond migrant. People come to look for diamond in your community. Before you look, the number of people in that community more than you, the indigenous of that area, and they don't represent the tribe, and they don't represent the culture at all. The essence of having a chief, a tribal chief, and is you need people as a custodian of positive culture. Of course, other people who come into your place can be integrated into your culture, but if that doesn't happen, you do not want election to erode your culture. Because if you have a group of Nibayan, for example, move into a particular location and they are mining gold, right? Maybe they're in Grand Basel or they're in Cape Mount, right? And they're mining gold, and they took over that entire village, in terms of numerical strength. And then you have to have a chieftaincy election and include those people who are present in that village. You obviously will not have the tribal or traditional chief. You have migrant as a chief because it's democracy now. You're looking for number. But the chieftaincy is meant to preserve the culture of the indigenous of the land. So we got to separate administrative authority from traditional authority. We have to do that. And the other point is, since 1986, yes, we know Todman time, the people used to do that election and whatsoever. 1986, they put it in the constitution, but they can't provide money for people to go to election. It's too much.
I agree with the fact that the issue that got to do with infiltration, and I think it's something that can be looked at, and if we are all on the same page, we can safeguard against that. But nevertheless, even at the commissioner level, I think people should be elected.
Yes,
Even the superintendent is supposed to be elected, almost
elected.
like the governor
Yes,
of that county. So the superintendent, you elect the commissioner takes charge of the economy of his territory
yeah,
and work with people in levy taxes, improve life. Some of these things, like if a high school is in a particular district, people, why central government or through the Ministry of Education supporting that, the people can also levy some local taxes to be able to deal with some of these issues, like a kind of like a road that leads from that commissioner territory to the major road.
yeah,
Be able to collect some resources as people to face their own role, to
yeah.
connect with the main role,
And
you
and
know.
and that is very, very possible, because the LRA is deeply centralized.
Mhm.
They are not able to cover the depth and the perimeter of revenue collection, revenue generation. If the LRA deconcentrate and get the local government involved in revenue generation, for example, the LRA is definitely going to generate huge revenue, and they can do revenue sharing.
Yes, of course, that's true.
Take, for instance, if you get township commissioners across Liberia involved with the recruitment of their locals to learn and understand the appraisal system, and go ahead doing the appraisal of various real estates, right? And on the basis of the appraisal, they can be able to make a determination of how much you're going to pay in real estate taxes. And the commissioner in that township also has a responsibility, along with the LRA, to make sure that that township collect real estate taxes for all of those people who own real estate in that township. And on the basis of their effort, they are able to share in the resources, in the revenue generated. Of course, you're going to see that everywhere in Liberia, real estate taxes will be collected with ease, not
Absolutely.
relying on Morovia-based examiner to go to a village in Grand Cru to do real estate appraisal and whatsoever. So
And
it
yeah.
has to be a sharing. That is part of the work of the Ministry of Local Government.
And further than that, to add to that too, the whole issue of land dispute, it can be minimized because commissioners within a particular local will now have a full scope of their territorial limits. And before anyone build or buy land there, you need to see that you first you gotta go to the commissioner office to make sure that all of this there will be provision for that. That office will be there for land sale, for deregistration, that will support the work of the Land Reform Commission. So in that case, if the land is bought in that particular local, you can't come back again. Somebody can go sell that land to John Brown again after some
No,
time.
because you have to pass through the commissioner office that has
Yes,
record that
yes,
that started with them, and went all the way down to be deposited with the. So
Okay.
it means that land authority seamlessly will be deconcentrated and
Yes.
find her presence in the office of the local township commissioner
Yes.
through deconcentration. All you need to do is to train those folks that are supposed to carry on a particular function within the township commissioner office.
Absolutely.
We can be a Morovia-based government and expect development. I challenge anybody to show me a country that developed without decentralization.
No.
There is no country anywhere in the world. No
No.
country anywhere in the world. We can be doing the same thing like your man Cummings can say
Yeah.
and expect something different.
Yeah, they expect different results. No. So if you like Morovia, if you already Morovia is divided into district or whatever, and if each of the district have a commissioner and we have adequate map to demonstrate that any construction, in fact, there will be a kind of monitoring process in terms of construction, so people will not just be building in alleys. Then after some year, popular works come to demolish people's homes. So things will be structured. People will know where to build. Before you construct, there would have been an inspection to make sure that you are directed that no, if the local authority cannot approve, you can't construct there. They got to approve.
Yeah. And that is part of the problem in the country. The last time we were talking about the land issue in the country. And I hold very strongly that the Liberian government has to take her fair share of the blame.
Absolutely.
So let's assume that somebody was negligent in purchasing a land. You understand? In purchasing a land that another person owned. But that person negligence was also contributed to by the government
Yeah.
who registered the land and give the person the impression that they have a genuine title.
Mm-hmm.
So if the government contribute to the negligence,
Yeah.
That government contribution should dissolve the other party negligence, and the government ought to pay.
Yes.
And that is the main reason why government should pay for every structure that is broken down, where people can be able to show their genuine title. If they didn't falsify the title and the title is genuine and it is proven that government did not do anything to stop that from happening,
Mm-hmm.
the government should be able to pay for people properties.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think there is a lot of good things. There are a lot of good things that come with, a lot of good things that come with the whole decentralization process. We just got to be very focused on it. We have to bring in those who understand the process and can work with the government to make sure that the whole process is is it takes off and it achieve its desired results. It shouldn't just be another policy on the book, and that it never leave Morovia, and and that ministry of local government doesn't just have to be in Morovia. Instead of focusing on the locals, and then it just sit there and nothing's happening. We pray and hope that the next election from now to 2029, we start seeing some even commissioner being in power, local government being in power, people taking power to themselves, and a lot of the power generating from the people and now from the executive marshal.
Yeah. I really want the government to concentrate on her administrative structure. You can't rely on chiefs. Concentrate on your administrative structure. Chief will take care of themselves.
Yeah,
Sometimes we know our chiefs just by the family that they come from.
that's true.
Chiefs will take care of themselves. Concentrate on your administrative structure. If you can put something in the budget for chief, you do that. The chief is going to make sure that they take care of their area, and people will respect them. And well, I mean, those are traditional people. You respect your tradition, you go and you visit the chief, people go visit the chief and do whatsoever they have to do. Those are traditional people. Chiefs will take care of themselves. And in an environment where the economic activity has taken over, and that or traditional community has evaporated, you wouldn't be responsible for that.
Yeah.
You can be held responsible for that. Yeah. And yeah, so my thing is, let's concentrate on the administrative structure. Let's concentrate on the administrative structure. This is Comrade Wemo Smith.
Comrade Smith, how are you, Comrade?
Professor Kova,
Yeah, bro, how's it?
I see you been a while. Come here, how good?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Right today.
Yeah, bro. I mean, you're right. Like for Eastern, my man, like for Eastern, a Grand Crow, if you have a commissioner elected, the man taking all the guys that didn't go in that place, that the man know all the people. They got to pay some more tax to the commissioner, and the commissioner can use those resources to develop the place.
Yeah.
While government, central government getting their share, where that money are coming from, the people too got to get their share too.
Yeah. So we can leave. I mean, it's a huge tax. It's a huge tax. And sometimes whenever I see now I stop talking about I stopped talking about people, the problems in government, like that. Sometimes people can deliberately choose to be stupid because they are corrupt.
Absolutely.
They are corrupt. If they put the right thing in place, it's going to stop their corruption. So they can choose deliberately to be stupid. Sometimes I don't look at them as stupid. I don't look at them as stupid. I try to find their motivation.
That's true.
To project stupidity, I try to find their motivation.
So you already know their acts are intentional and willful. But the thing about all these policy issue, governance issue, you work with the governance commission, Professor Kova, you got been involved with a lot of reform work. It's unfortunate that these things you go along with chain reaction. Okay? When you put these policies, you put this fine law into play, it's not just about intellectualizing. There must be a chain reaction. Because the very reason why you put time to formulate these policies, because you are seeking to resolve an issue, something that was not done right, or something that does not conform to the contemporary realities, for which you've embarked on an endeavor to formulate a policy. So now that you form the policy, does it remain on the shelf? In most cases in Liberia, those policies are just for the shelf. There is no chain reaction. All right?
That's true.
So it's unfortunate.
That's true.
Unfortunate.
That what we were saying, that we hope that it is not the local Ministry of Local Government will not be the Ministry of Morovia, and just say that.
About changing, really, you wore a white trouser, you get changed the white to blue trouser. That's the situation. All right. So, what are the infrastructure in place? Look at our local government act. Look at what it seeks to address. So, what are the preliminary groundwork that have been done? Zero.
I think
So the
I think
local government is stay in the military and internal affairs structure.
I,
Okay,
I think
you
what
you
is
you a classic example, Guri. I was before I left the country. After I appeared on the program, and then the government had to suspend the whole process of this national identification registry executive order. I provided a technical brief that this was not possible in 6 months, 1 year, even 3 years, given what was obtaining. You got basic infrastructure not available. You don't have customer center beyond Mount Barclay. You say you want to carry on a robust national identification registry, but you did not lip service. Now they suspended it. They created a new committee over 1 year now. I think that's one making the committee time expiring. Only got 1 month. They've done nothing. It's the same with the local government thing, So, comrade, we have to be intentional because the decision we are making now, the policy prescription we are coming up with or that are evolving, are decisions that should be looking to the next 50 years. Okay, the next 50 years. What are the decisions we are making now that will correct a lot of things for the next 5 generations? So everything that is happening, those are lip service, window dressing stuff. And except we want to say that you just arrived on Pluto today, Giri, to think that something new is going to happen is going to be automatic, with the local government. No, the local government will just see that as a de facto Ministry of Internal Affairs. Yeah, why the structures? Why
yeah,
the structure?
and
You don't want a chief. You don't want a chief election. You don't want chieftaincy elections. You don't want commissioners elected. You say a cost it. You don't want mayor elected. Then you tell about local government. Where is the independence? Where is the autonomy? All right, these people will be having a little local tax operation, raising their own tax, giving some to the consolidated account, and keeping some to run their offices. Do we have those structures in place? All right, so we
let
have
me
to be.
let me talk about the election of the superintendent. I think in the local government act, the representative and the legislature, the
Mhm.
legislature remove the legislature removed that provision. The legislature removed the provision for superintendents to be elected.
Because they feel threatened.
Yes, they feel threatened. Now, why will you feel threatened?
Because
Look,
they don't do anything.
look at the situation here in Minnesota, for example, right? The governor is not contesting.
Mhm.
The senator came back
Yeah, from
from
Washington
Washington.
D.C. Yeah, how they call her, sir?
Amy Klobuchar.
Yeah, Klobuchar coming back to be
She,
governor.
yeah, she coming back to be governor, right?
Mhm.
So it's the same thing. Senator can leave and go and become superintendent.
President.
Superintendent can leave and become senator. There can be exchanges.
No, in the eyes of Liberians, as a senator, you are a big guy. Don't be bigger than the
No,
That
superintendent.
that that is
it's not the big as it's the control of the
That's what I'm
money, the
saying.
counter
yeah,
development fund. If you have a superintendent elected, he will have a say in the counter development fund. But as it stands, the so-called legislative caucus and the internal affairs minister have the biggest say in your counter development money.
They don't want anybody to say no to them.
but they can't look beyond themselves. They don't look
No,
beyond themselves.
that's it.
They don't look beyond themselves because they don't stay forever.
But boy,
Meanwhile,
we fought,
they have plotted progress.
we fought that thing from the GC, and those
Yeah,
we fought that thing. We said the guy shouldn't be the referee at the same time the player. They need to take their hand off that thing.
But
Don't
let me let in another issue relative to the local government.
so currently now, the president did not veto that bill. He signed it. He should have sent that thing back. That you got to follow that we need to elect superintendent. He shouldn't have signed it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not Bwaka that signed it either. But it was during the Bwaka administration that it passed through the legislature. So Bwaka was president of the Senate when that thing got removed. But the other thing that we should watch for is how the government regard the governance commission. The governance commission under the Bwaka administration,
It's a sleeping dog.
yeah, it's not regarded as at all.
Yeah,
How do you know?
I,
How do you know? Look at the kind of people that they are appointing. So far, they have appointed
as
two
the
nurses.
chairperson, as the
Two,
chairperson of the
Two
government
nurses.
commission,
They have appointed
commission,
two nurses at the governance commission.
two nurses
Yeah, nurses.
from medical team to governor team.
Yes, they're not even medical doctor, but nurses.
My man nurses
as
that the real nurses
commission, as the chairman of the governance commission,
The chairman of the governance commission has not yet been commissioned.
Why? Larry?
Yeah, the chairman of the governance commission has not yet been commissioned. But the thing
was he confirmed?
No,
they don't go for confirmation.
He's supposed to go for confirmation. But the point is, you are not born as chairman of the governance commission. You are commissioner first.
Okay.
So if the president appoints you, before the president
go for confirmation,
you gotta go for confirmation as a commissioner. You gotta go for confirmation as a commissioner and be commissioned.
Yes.
Then the president can designate you as acting chairman, because the problem there is the former chairman under the CDC took them to court because he claimed that they violated the act, because they have tenure.
That Harrison Yeru?
Yeah, Garrison Yeru. So that is the main issue there.
When you say he claimed he got tenure, I'm confused. Is he claiming or that's what the law says?
I didn't say he claiming.
Oh, I thought what you say.
Yeah, but if you taking a case to court, you have to make a point.
So, but is it the code that put an injunction for any further proceeding, or what has happened?
Yeah,
for which Larry has not been.
Of course, they cannot appoint a chairman. They cannot appoint a chairman when this guy has not yet been removed.
Finally let go.
Yeah.
Okay. And the case is still pending.
Yeah, but my point is, you don't have to be a chairman to be confirmed. The chairman is just first among.
All the commissioners, but all the commissioners are commissioners.
So, if the president does not appoint a chairman, or the president regard you as the chairman, you can be the acting while you are a commissioner.
Okay.
And I don't see why there will be other appointments, and those people go for confirmation, and the person who is designated as chairman cannot go for confirmation. You have to go for confirmation first and foremost.
Well, Bo, I don't know. The president will not send a mail for confirmation. When the president appointed you, or they got to write the Senate.
When the president appoints you, okay, let's assume the president appoints you and say, "Oh, chairman, governance commission."
Yeah,
you understand.
You got to
communicate. You need to go for another letter that says commissioner.
Okay.
Yeah, commissioner, governance commission, you get your appointment, and you are the acting chairman recognized by the president until the other issue is resolved. But the thing is, the kind of people that the government is appointing to the governance commission makes the governance commission ineffective, because the governance commission the commissioners at the governance commission are full-time commissioners, and they are technocrats. They are the head of the mandate area. They are not ceremonious. They're not like a board. No, they are technocrats. They are involved with the work at the governance commission. That is why
They drive the process.
yeah, they are full-time. And so you can't send anybody at the governance commission. CDC did the same, but we could understand with CDC. You understand? We could understand with CDC. Apparently, George Weah didn't understand the full scope of operation of the governance commission, and people like Nathaniel McGill and other people, were so frightened, and they wouldn't allow other people go around George Weah and be able to inform him about those kinds of things. So Nathaniel McGill would just sit down and carry any paper to George Weah to appoint anybody at the governance commission.
Where is our pape, the critical elements?
Who?
The critical elements, Dr. Carlin.
Oh, Dr. Kelly? No, he's not
Kelly,
there.
rather.
He's not there.
Oh, he's no more there. Yeah, the critical elements of the issues.
Yeah. And the governance commission supposed to work closely with the Ministry of Local Government.
Different ministry and agency.
Yes, they're supposed to work closely with the Ministry of Local Government on the implementation of this
decentralization policy.
Yes, because the Ministry of Local Government cannot evaluate herself.
That's true.
So the monitoring and evaluation unit at the governance commission supposed to work with the political and legal reform mandate area to evaluate how the policy that they drafted, how it is being implemented, and whether the direction is taking is on the right course. If not, the governance commission has the obligation to make policy amendment so that they fix the car, like Dolly used to say, you fix the car while it's moving. And you don't wait to get the car perfect before you get it to move.
Is he still there too?
No.
Oh. Well, boy, my man, I think the weekend already starts.
Yeah.
It's almost 9:30.
Yeah.
How long we get to go?
Yeah, it's Comrade Smith. I mean, we can wrap up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should.
Bobo, do you come out on Saturdays?
Yeah, we should come. We should come out tomorrow.
Oh, you trying on? Okay, let's see.
I want us to just hit the weekends.
Okay.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
All right. So
that's the meantime I will get all of you.
Yeah, what you will formulate something and share it?
Yeah, you saw the chat room, right?
Yeah, I was there. In fact, I asked you in the chat room.
I post some stuff. There, so those are the issues that we should be watching.
Yeah, it is. Really, okay.
Yeah, those are the issues that we should be watching.
Mr. Francis Secular Newman, that's the minister.
After the show or now?
So Komikova.
Yeah, Bo.
Women and myself were arguing.
My man, you going live or you?
I'm live.
Oh, okay. You go to
yeah. Women and myself were arguing about the LFA. No, not the CAF.
Yeah.
CAF decision on Senegal.
Morocco and Senegal.
Yeah, so I was saying I don't follow the football.
Game.
Yeah, I don't follow the football too much. But if we look at the text of the law and then break it down into elements, I was saying that the guys were not right to take the decision that they took. And the two elements I was looking at mainly that they probably would not be able to fulfill were one, team. They talk about team. The team has to leave the field, right? Yeah, the team has to leave the field, the ground. They said the team has to leave the ground, and then the next thing I was looking at was what constitutes the ground. You know, so I was saying, okay, the team, whether the team, include the entire team such that a few people from the team leave back on the pitch, then it will be like the team did not leave, right? Then for the ground will include the pitch, the technical area that is the surrounding where the technical people can sit. The ground will include the tunnel plus the dressing room. Then the ground will include the perimeter of the stadium. So to leave the ground means that you left the perimeter of the stadium. You went outside the stadium. And none of that happened. So to take the decision against Senegal, the team as a unified whole has to leave the ground, which is the perimeter of the stadium. Yeah, because the ground does not only mean the pitch. So I'm pushing it to Wemo Smith, and Wemo Smith is a CAF representative on this show.
Well, we can talk about that tomorrow. But yeah. I think you have a point.
Comrade Smith, you want to make yourself available so we can talk about it.
Yeah, I think you have a point.
You gotta educate us.
And I will be available because Professor Kofa, it's not about the angle community is looking at, it's what the law says.
Okay. Yeah, like the law looking at.
There's a law and there's an interpretation of that law. Council, you know that. Okay. And so
only the school people can interpret that law.
Community is saying that the pitch does not constitute the ground.
No,
I say no.
It's part of the ground.
So
it's not sufficient.
It's not the absolute ground because the ground extends to the entire perimeter that is fenced.
No. The first thing you need for football is the playing pitch. That's the first and foremost thing.
But before you go, why you wasting our time? No, why you wasted people time? Because I think it was Morocco. I know some kind of goal they score or that brought confusion. I saw some of not all of the Senegalese left. Some remain on the field.
All left except
you continue with the match. Now Senegal beat. You should have disqualified them there and give the point to Morocco.
That's the point I made to Comrade. I said the only uptake there was the decision is overdue.
Yes, it's belated.
The referee should have cut the game off immediately when the guy walked out of the field, gave all of them one card, and award the championship to Morocco. Because the rule says at no point in time while the game is being played that you will walk out of the field without the ref authorization. So you had 10 persons walk out of the field.
Okay.
And the coach publicly said he authorized his team. So the coach and his entire technical staff went they left the pitch, they went to the dressing room. That was ground for disqualification. No doubt about it. That's the law. The referee also was what? Negligible, because the executive of CAF, the disciplinary committee, at that point of the game, that's not when they make decision. They make decision when they are reviewing what happened during the game. Who has the final decision during the game? It is the referee. The referee has the sole responsibility. So the referee failed to cut the game off and gave Morocco the championship. If you go on my page on January 19, I commented, I provided a professional technical brief. Where January 19? 2 days ago, it come back to what I was saying. In 2001, the African Cup of Nations final, 2000 there, about Nigeria versus Cameroon, that ended in a penalty shootout. Fifth penalty was a goal. But the ref said because of the man's body language and the ball went too fast and came back, he did allow the penalty. That was a goal. Cameroon won the African Cup of Nations on the basis of that technical blunder from the referee. What did CAF do? CAF suspended that referee for 2 years after a review. And so the point I'm making is the ref who has the whistle is the judge. He has the final say in any football game.
And the ref said Senegal won.
Yes, but the rule also provides for protest. So Morocco filed a protest. The law provides for that. It is based on a protest that the disciplinary committee, the grievance committee, dismissed Morocco claim, and Morocco took an appeal. And so the appeal now posts Morocco as the new champion. Now, the law supports all of those actions. But like I said to you, the timing, the optic, all right? So the referee himself has to be punished for such a, you got to come over. Once you walk out of the field, even when you score a goal, you take out your jersey, you walk out of the field. What can happen when you come back on the field? The right gives you yellow card. Why about 10 minutes? Because the whole bench.
We need to look at that, because that is not my argument at all. We need to look at that.
Tomorrow it can be
you're talking about the field, you're talking about the field, you're talking about the pitch. The law, the text of the laws did not mention pitch. It didn't
we
mention
gotta go
field.
do our research.
The ground.
Research we
let's discuss that thing thoroughly tomorrow.
Let's go do some research.
You have to make a full disclosure that you are in sympathy with Senegal first. Make that disclosure and then you make the discussion better.
If you're a lawyer and representing a party, you gotta advocate that person, a position very clearly.
Correct.
Morocco
the decision of CAF, the law. I'm not for Senegal, I'm not for Morocco.
Morocco could not win on the pitch. They got to win outside of the pitch.
Morocco won the conference of the law. The law.
So we can talk about it tomorrow, man. We will do our small research, even though we don't have full knowledge of the law about this governing law of sport. But
you gotta define pitch and ground.
Yeah. I'm sure when I get to ChatGPT, it can bring some information about the law.
No, first of all, you just get the law that you get the law that CAF rely on. Get the law that CAF rely on. Break it down into argument, and you see.
Okay, so I gotta call it up and tomorrow. What time tomorrow? 7?
Yes, 6.
6. Okay. But my man, you will be the main discuss. You will be the lead for the discussion.
Yeah, I'll be available.
Don't disappoint. You will be the lead.
I will do all the schools of thought, and I will provide the sentences.
Okay. But both I mean you gotta checkmate it man tomorrow so you will not talk for
No,
1
the
hour.
man, I was thinking on that ground issue, the ground issue at all.
You get
Well,
it?
the question is, the legal question is whether Senegal left the ground.
Senegal boycotted the deal.
Whether they left the ground, the law said ground.
The answer is yes. The answer is yes.
I mean, later tomorrow, we'll save it for tomorrow. But you
Yeah,
gotta answer
tomorrow
that
we come
question.
back. Tomorrow you will be the league discussing and we'll discuss that game. It's an interesting thing.
The question will be very fit and healthy.
Okay.
God bless all of our listeners. Tomorrow we are going to, amongst other things, whet your appetite with the discussion around the decision against Senegal. We are going to be having Mr. Wimmer Smith, a very strong advocate for the football governing body.
Former vice chair
Yeah,
for
football governing
operation,
body and the
LFA.
former vice chair for LFA.
And the top international match commissioner.
And the CAF
Yeah,
International Match Commissioner. So he understands, he's very versed in that area. We are just going to be teasing him tomorrow so that we get a lot of things out of him, because for us, we stand with Senegal.
Yes.
Have a nice day and see you
Okay, both
tomorrow.
there tomorrow.